We're talking about commercialization of trans pride. Shit, no, we're talking about commercialization of pride in general. Because, I mean, hell, if people wanted to commercialize being trans and all of the companies stood up for being trans, that would be fucking sick, wouldn't it? But we're talking about pride in general and how it's kind of become meaningless, I think, with the commercialization of it. How do you feel about the commercialization of pride? What do you like? What do you dislike about it? Do you think it's empowering? Do you think it helps push the prerogative forward of normalizing our existence and empowering our existence? Or do you think it's hijacking the movement and transforming it into something that's ugly and not useful or not even good for our movement? That's what we're diving into today. I'm Ashley Adamson, and I'm of the Trans Club. And if you want to join us on Discord, if you're trans and share your journey, you can do that. And please like and subscribe if this is your first time seeing this video. I'd love to see you again. So, commercialization. I think a lot of people get up in arms about commercialization of pride, but I honestly don't have a problem with it. And here's why. Because once things go from the subversive culture, the subculture, to the mainstream culture, they do get reappropriated. But this is a rite of passage for sub-communities to grow up and to become a part of the mainstream. And this is how the mainstream exists. This is how mainstream culture exists. It takes things from subculture, reappropriates them, and reformats them in a way that's packageable and digestible for the mainstream. Without this repackaging for the mainstream, we would just continue to be a subculture and continue to be a smaller fraction of a larger pie that we just couldn't be a part of. But with commercialization, we actually get to be a part of the larger pie, and we get acknowledged for our economic contributions and also seen as a valuable working commodity to be valued, basically, to be hired, to be shown that we can work at these workplaces. I think that's a good thing. And I completely support us growing up and being a part of a larger thing. But I mean, like, what value is it to me for seeing like gay and lesbian people getting more representation and support through commercialization? I think at this point, it's like being gay or being a lesbian is not an issue at most forward-thinking companies or most companies in general. I think it's kind of become mainstream to be accepting of these kinds of things. But I don't feel the same for being trans. I do feel like we should have trans commercialization so we can be fucking mainstream. Like, wouldn't that be sick? Being trans, taking trans to the mainstream so we can just be normal and then just get on with our day and not have to deal with fighting for our rights and stuff like that. Wouldn't that be nice? I think it would be pretty good. So, like, I think that's a big aspect of commercialization is, like, this is a rite of passage. This is how we move forward. But I can also see the argument around commodification and how it can also hijack and steal a big part of the conversation that's important. But, I mean, what is more important in the conversation than to just say, hey, we're here, we want to be normal, and we just want to be a part of the conversation. And you can join us, and you can sponsor us, and you can kind of be a part of us and put money into it and advertise. That's totally cool. Oh, but if a company is just rainbow washing their corporation and they don't actually follow through on supporting being LGBTQIA+, that's where I kind of have you shouldn't be doing that. And maybe there's a way we can call out corporations that do this where they rainbow wash and they don't actually follow through. That would be kind of cool to have like a blacklist, you know? You can't and you can't because, you know. But I think overall the intention is good. It's normally an initiative done by LGBT people within communities at these corporations. And they're really just trying to find funding to grow and to help expand their LGBT population at the company. I mean, like, wouldn't it be sick to have like an LGBT team to work with, or more LGBT people with different perspectives as your coworkers? I think that'd be awesome. I work with mostly men, but like, that's not a problem for me. But I would love to have more trans people. That would be cool. So that's my thoughts. What are yours? Like, how much do you care about commercialization of Pride? And do you think perhaps that a trans commercialization would be a good next step in making us more mainstream? Write me in the comments down below. And please support Patreon, join our Discord, the Trans.club, and I'll see you in another episode soon. Bye!